From the heart of Sacramento, where the crown stays on and the lights go off, this is the Sac Blackout Podcast. No filters, no limits, just straight raw talk. We're bringing you everything sports, music, culture, and the real conversations they don't want you to have. So when the lights go out, you already know what time it is. Sac Blackout Podcast. What's going on, Raider Nation? And welcome back to the Sac Blackout Podcast, where we bring the facts, give our opinions, and black out the nonsense. Broadcasting live from Sacramento, California, I am your host, Izzy Lopez, and the Vice President of the Sacramento chapter, the Black Hole, here to go on ahead and let you know what's been going down. I'll be joined by our Raider and our on-point analyst, football player analyst, Wyatt Redding, coming up here in just a little while, and the our co-host and president of the Black Hole Sacramento chapter, Raider Chavez, will be joining us in just a little while. So we're going to be breaking down what we saw from the Las Vegas Raiders against the Arizona Cardinals in preseason action. And listen, look, we all know that the one rule about preseason is that you don't overreact. But that doesn't mean that there aren't things to be talking about, or at least that are worth talking about. So tonight we're going to be getting into the offense. What worked, what didn't, who looked comfortable, which players still have some work to do, and then we're going to be talking about the defense. Who's flying around making plays, where we saw improvement, and where there still might be some concerns. And most importantly, we're asking the question, who exceeded expectations and who didn't meet them? Who didn't meet them? Sorry, I got choked up there for a second. We'll talk about the players who helped themselves, the guys who needed to show improvement in the next preseason game, and the position battles that might get a little bit more interesting. And yes, we're definitely going to be talking about the penalties and the mistakes that cannot carry over into the regular season. But we want to hear from you, Raider Nation. Were you impressed with what you saw? Were you disappointed? Or are you kind of sitting there just saying, Izzy, calm down, it's preseason? Either way, get into the chat and let us know what you think, because tonight we're going to be breaking it all down. So grab your drink, grab your seat, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and get ready for some Raiders football. This is the Sac Blackout Podcast. All right, so like I said, we're going to be joined here in a little while by our guest. We're going to be having Wyatt Redding coming up here in just a little while, and then also we're going to be having Raider Chavez showing up in a little bit. Until then, I'll go on ahead and get this thing started right here. Last night with the preseason game was awesome. We were at Shenanigans Kitchen and Bar in Citrus Heights, California, and it was located off 7431 Madison Avenue. It was our first preseason watch party game, and I cannot, on behalf of Shenanigans, Momo Smokehouse, and the crew that's over there working, thank you so much for everybody that showed up. It was really, really exciting to know that we can be able to get that many. And it's not so much as that we're getting a lot of the people showing up. There are just loyal fans out there that need a place to watch this game. And right there, because like I said, a lot of people that did come in, they had their kids with them. So there was no real excuse not to be able to show up. And we want to thank each and everyone that did show up for that game. It was amazing. The food was great. It was hot. Drinks were definitely cold, and they were really good. So we want to thank, like I said, the staff and the crew and the management, everybody else at Shenanigans and Momo Smokehouse for doing what they did. It was definitely... It was getting to the point where we were thinking that nobody was going to show up because, it's a Thursday game. It's a preseason, who's going to show up on a preseason game? But I'll tell you who shows up. The Raider loyalists, man. I'm telling you, they do show up. And everybody that couldn't show up doesn't mean that you weren't loyalists. Just telling you, I know it's a Thursday, but we did rock the house. We did have everybody show up, and it was great. And then we'll talk a little bit more about that when Raider Chavez gets in here. Other than that, though, let's go on ahead and get into the game. So there were a lot of things that were going on in that game. The first preseason game, obviously, that everybody was expecting to see Fernando Mendoza to go lights out. And obviously, Kirk Cousins did exactly what he was supposed to do. Coming out there, he was 5 for 6, 50 yards, and he threw 1 touchdown. I think one of the passes was just knocked, fell out of the hands, whatever. But yeah, Kirk Cousins actually, and I wanted to point something out in regards to that. Kirk Cousins actually was somewhere around in the range of like 2.37 average as far as getting the ball out of his hands, and most of those two seconds of getting the ball out of his hands came from shotgun positions. Okay, so obviously there's going to be a little bit of a second for him to get that ball coming to him, looking around to see who's going to throw it to, and then he throws it. Because when he was right under center, his average was like 1.9, and that was one of the throws that he ended up getting, and I believe ended up scoring the touchdown with. But yeah, Kirk Cousins 5'6", 50 yards and a touchdown, and then Mendoza came in. All right, so let me see. Nope. All right. So yeah. So Mendoza comes in after that. And he goes 10 for 16 with 97 yards and a touchdown. Not bad. Not bad at all. I mean, to be able to have a rookie like that come in his first year, and I mean, you could tell that a lot of the things that he was doing out there were damn near mimicked a lot of what was going on in his college years. So give a big. I think if anything, did he meet your expectations coming in and playing the way that he played? I want to say that he played exactly like a rookie. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I mean, he came in and did exactly what he did. He made a couple of mistakes. He actually held on the ball a little bit longer than he should have. There was one play where he held on to the ball for 4.27 seconds. Now, in the football world, holding on to the ball for more than 2 seconds is definitely a lifetime. So him holding on to the ball for that long, he was sacked on that play. But really, the next play after that, he held the ball for 1.4 seconds, and that was the one that he threw touchdown to Jack Besh. Aiden O'Connell, I mean, what can we say? There was a lot of praise for him to do good coming up into this game. We don't know. Like, he's got a strong arm. He's definitely got the ability to become a good quarterback. But coming into this game, playing the way that he did, going 4 for 13, 85 yards, he was overthrowing a lot. He underthrew a couple of guys, and he just didn't seem like he was catching on to the rhythm of the game, which, I mean, I'm not sure exactly how he couldn't have. But it didn't look good for Aiden O'Connell. All right. And I was praising him a lot too coming into it. I thought that he was definitely going to be able to do it, but it just proved that he still probably has some work to do. There were a lot of good things that they said about him during OTAs and training camp, that he was definitely lighting it up, and he looked like he was going to be giving a good run for the money, you know what I mean, to be that starting quarterback. Whether or not that, Kirk Cousins is going to, play the full season or not, we don't know. But right now I can tell you that, like I said, Kirk Cousins came out, did exactly what he was supposed to do. 5 for 6, threw a touchdown. That was it. He comes out of the game and just does exactly what he's supposed to do. Fernando Mendoza comes in. He goes 10 for 16. He looked a little. You could tell there was a couple times he didn't know what he was doing in the pocket, but then he got it together, and that is his game. Go back into his college years, and you'll see that a lot of the games that he starts off with, he starts off a bit ugly. All right. That's kind of like that tequila effect that everybody was talking about. You go in, you see that cute little chick that's looking at, you're like, nah, she didn't even look that good. It ain't even that. Couple of more shots, it starts to look great. Okay, that's what ends up happening. Now, probably the worst analogy to use in this one, but if you go back and look at a lot of his games, what's really cool about it is the fact that he always starts off very slow, and then he gets into a rhythm. And then once that rhythm is going, then he just becomes successful towards the end of the game. So like I said, he went 10 for 16, 97 yards, and 1 touchdown, which was really, really good. Unfortunately, Aiden O'Connell just didn't step up to the plate. We'll see what goes on. I mean, look, it's preseason. I mean, I'm not going to put too much onto it right now, but we're going to see. So the offense was looking pretty good. Your top wide receiver, or your top offensive players that you had in there, you had EJ Williams. He caught 1 reception. He was actually probably at the top as far as the wide receivers went. He had 1 reception for 41 yards, and the longest one was 41. Didn't score a touchdown. Malik Benson actually was out there looking really good. He connected with Mendoza a couple times. 2 for 26, 19, and the longest was his 19 yards. And then the man of the hour, and then we'll be talking about him a little bit later on. Jack Besh, three receptions, 25 yards. And Trey Tucker was actually he did really well. He came out there and caught a couple of balls. He caught one from actually Mendoza, and he got one from earlier in the game with Kirk Cousins, I believe. And then Michael Mayer. I mean, yeah, another stud in the tight end position. He's definitely going to be looking good, and he felt really good. He looked like he was definitely in the right place at the right time every single play. 2 receptions for 19 yards, and he got a touchdown in there. So it seemed like the offense was doing really good, especially the line. Now, let me get into that. All right, so all right, so the Las Vegas Raiders starting offensive, so they opened up with 10 plays, a 68-yard touchdown drive led by veteran Kirk Cousins. Cousins went 5 for 6 and 50 yards, connecting with Trey Tucker, Michael Mayer, and Jack Besh. Look, yeah, Jack Besh even caught out of the three that he got, he caught one from Cousins, and then the other 2 with Mendoza, and actually scoring a touchdown. So that's amazing in that part. We like that. All right, so the first drive, Cousins was efficient, accurate, and just the all-around playmaker like he should have. The second drive comes around after Cousins is out. Rookie Fernando Mendoza, which was a tale of 2 drives. Look at that. And we got our guy coming in right now. Let's go on ahead and talk to him. What's up,
Hi,
bro?
guys. Hello, everybody.
What's up, man?
What's going on?
Now, I'm over here just holding it down like 4 flat tires with you. How was work today? Good?
I like that Sack Blackout logo right there, man.
Yeah, it looks pretty
That's
good, right? You got to admit that.
yeah,
Yeah, it actually looks not too bad. Sack
the
Blackout's a good
real
name.
the real Sack Blackout.
Exactly. Yes, everyone. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. So yeah, I was actually I'm glad that you showed up around right now. I was just kind of going over the offense, but I wanted to ask you at the beginning of the show, when you're here, how did you like the how did you like the turnout, man, for the preseason?
Oh man, I got there a little late because of work. Don't freak out, everybody. It's just preseason. I'm not taking the day off for a preseason game, but I was listening to half the game on the radio, and the other half I made it to the watch party. Man, just walking in and seeing the crowd, I'm like, geez, I, this many people for a game that doesn't count. I mean, this is great. Look at Dina, like always. If there's music, Dina's dancing.
Well, I'm doing a
If
good
it,
job if I got Dina dancing out there. You know what I'm saying? So on the DJ set.
You did a good job when you had the cooks coming out and Momo from Momo Smokehouse dancing. That's when
Yeah.
that's when it was hitting.
Yeah, and like I said, man, it's a preseason game. I mean, I want to say, I mean, you can see right there, everyone that we had a lot of people show up on a Thursday night preseason game. I mean, that just doesn't just mean that we're able to just get people there. It's more of just how loyal that a lot of the fans are and how dedicated they are to being able to watch a game, especially with people that brought their kids. So you don't have any excuse. Like I said, no excuse. You have a place to watch the game. 7431 Madison Avenue in Citrus Heights. Shenanigans, I'm telling you, it's a good place to be. And
Hey, it's kid friendly, has plenty of tables and chairs. It doesn't just have a bar to sit at with limited other seating. It has tables, chairs, really good food. Like we said again, family friendly. Everybody enjoys coming there, hanging out. They enjoy the brotherhood. They enjoy uh, everything we have to offer, man. And we keep it up. We just gotta keep up the energy and keep up the brotherhood, man. And we're gonna keep doing this all year long.
yep.
We're going on season 3, and it's been great.
It's gonna be amazing. Yeah, we're gonna love this season 3, man. It's gonna be great. Looking forward to that. All right, so let's get into it, man. Let's start off with the offense. It's probably not going to be too much to talk about because were you excited? Did it meet your expectations? Like, what did you take from the first drive?
Oh, I thought the first team offense did outstanding. I mean, Kirk Cousins settled in after the first like two plays,
Yep,
and then he drove the team downfield and scored that touchdown. And I believe it was Michael Mayer. It was nice to see him catch a touchdown, and he broke a tackle and ran into the end zone. So
exactly.
I think offensive line protected. I think we ran with purpose. That's the other thing. The running game. We had one really good big run. I'm sure we'll talk about later,
Yeah,
but it wasn't like last year where the second we handed off the ball, we had a defender in the backfield hitting Ashton Genty.
right.
It looks like we're gonna pick up meaningful yards this year, and not Genty's not gonna have to like break a tackle before he even gets back to the line of scrimmage. So I was really impressed with that. I was impressed even when Mendoza came in and played with the twos and threes. Uh, I thought he played well. I know he only had one touchdown drive, but he didn't throw any interceptions. He did take a sack that I think it was a learning experience for him. And I believe
Yeah.
in his interview he said, "Man, I was running to the right, and this was either the sack or when he threw the ball away. I can't remember, but he's like, I was running to the right, and normally in college I go there and I'm able to like take off and pick up 2 or 3 yards." But he's like, "Man, that's where the speed of the NFL goes. Man, I had no room to go anywhere, and I had to throw the ball away." So he's
Yeah,
like, "They
I'm
catch
thinking
up to
that
you fast."
that's the play that he did throw it over. He threw it out because
Yeah.
the one that you were talking about where he ended up getting sacked, he actually and I was calculating it on my own. He held the ball for 4.26 seconds, so 4.2 seconds, and like I said, 4 seconds is a long time because even when Cousins was in for that series, Cousins went for 5 for 6 through 50 yards, and he had a touchdown. He averaged somewhere around 2.35 seconds holding on to the ball. That was an average. And the one time that he threw the touchdown, he actually held the ball for 1.9. Now, a lot of the 2 seconds that he was holding on to the ball or having the ball was out of a shotgun position. So, I mean, you can take into accountability that Cousins is his veteran mindset. Get the ball, know who move your eyes a little bit, and then throw it. There was maybe one pump fake that he threw throughout all that, but Cousins was definitely on point. Got in, got out, and just did exactly what he was supposed to do. Mendoza, on the other hand, we were talking about. He actually he was holding on to the ball a couple of times for like more maybe 2 seconds or so. The one time that he got sacked, he held on to it for 4. But then the very next play, 1.4 seconds, he held on to the ball, and that's when he threw a touchdown to Jack Besh, which was amazing. So I think that, Mendoza going 10 for 6, 97 yards and a touchdown did really well. I mean, I'm not going to you blow it all up, but I think, he did really well. He was over 500 throwing it and scored a touchdown in his drive. So, I mean, yes, it was definitely on there. Oh, look at Cheeseman is in the building. Hold on. Let me get this going. I was supposed to put these up a little while ago. I don't know. Can you see that? Oh, why is it so small?
Cheese is definitely not at small.
All right, here we go. All right, can we see that in there? Yes, he is. What's up, Cheese?
Cheese in the house.
All right, yes, that's our guy right there. What's up with it, Brad? Sorry, I didn't have the comments up a little while ago, but now we got it. We're good. He's in the house, and they're like swimwear. So going back to the quarterbacks, like I said, Cousins came in, did exactly what he was supposed to do. Mendoza I think he looked pretty good. And Mendoza's history, if you ever go back and look into it, a lot of the games that he starts off slow. He always starts off slow. He may throw an interception. He'll get sacked a couple times. But towards the end of the game, like it seems like he just adapts to the game like it's his own environment. And then he ends up just pulling off, whether it be a win or just a successful, a play run of series. So I'm really excited the way that Mendoza came out and played. Scoring a touchdown, I think, really, really enhances his ability or his chances of becoming a starter in this league. And man, I got to eat my words up a little bit.
Wait,
Aiden
wait, wait.
O'Connell.
Before no, where's Wyatt? He's not in here yet.
No,
Still eating
no,
dinner.
no. He hasn't came in yet. No, he said he was eating dinner, but then he'll get in a
We
little
need
bit.
we need it. Wyatt for this hot AOC talk.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I mean, we could just probably skip that. But yeah, Aiden
No, let's go
O'Connell,
ahead.
dude, he had Aiden O'Connell 4 for 13, 85 yards, no touchdowns. He got sacked. Like you were talking about earlier when we had a discussion off the air. He has a great arm. He seems to not really know exactly where where his strength is. I think on that one, he is definitely going to be a backup quarterback somewhere. I don't know. Let's just go on ahead and face it, man. I think we're just going to be better off with Cousins and Mendoza. I know it's a preseason game, but I mean, you can't come out into the league like that, into a preseason game, and only go 4 for 13 when you've been with the team for for a good majority of your career. I
I
know
thought
they
we
got
would. I thought we would see more out of him because of the experience he's had
right.
with the Raiders, starting and doing all that. I thought playing against third stringers and everything, he'd have a better performance. But he
Right.
pretty much looked like the AOC that we've been seeing the last few times he's had a chance to play. He overthrows guys. I mean, he has a great arm. I mean, he could throw a nice deep ball, but he's just not accurate. He overthrows guys. I remember even when he started for the Raiders years ago, he was overthrowing Trey Tucker, who
Yeah.
was wide open. Uh, just
He did
not.
that a
He
couple
had
times too.
yeah, and he had one really good pass that just bounced off the hands of Dorsett. And I remember I was standing next to you when that happened. We're like, "What is
Yeah.
happening here?" I mean, it was right there,
Yeah.
but but I think his time with the Raiders is done. I mean, it's possible he stays on the roster this year as a third string, but really seeing the development of Mendoza, I really don't think AOC's needed at this point. I think
Right.
the Raiders are totally comfortable with riding it out with Cousins, and at whatever point, if the season starts going haywire, they bring in Mendoza and just let Mendoza get the experience. I don't really see a reason to carry AOC. I would at cut down time let the guy go and let him get a chance somewhere else. You know, he's a good kid. I do think he has talent. I just think maybe it needs to be somewhere else. I think
Right.
you know.
I mean, look, Garner Minshew. He went to Arizona and he lit us up a little bit. I mean, I mean, that's it probably could work out like that. you know? Um,
Uh-oh.
yeah,
Are we gonna have Minshew mania in Arizona now?
I think so. Yeah, I think he's gonna have to regrow that mustache like he did not too long ago.
Mm.
so yeah, so yeah, as far as the quarterbacks go, so Kirk Cousins, he had Ashton Genty, Jalen Naylor, Jack Besh, Trey Tucker, Brock Bowers. Even though Brock Bowers didn't really, didn't really do much in there. They didn't really need him to do anything. So that was a very good. Now, his lineup too: Colton Miller, Spencer Burford, Tyler Linderbaum, JPJ, and DJ Glaze on the line. It looked like you know what? There were a couple times where I saw, of course, Linderbaum was doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing, holding people back, giving Cousins plenty of time to hold on to that football, even though he didn't really need it. And Colton Miller, man, Colton Miller and Tyler Linderbaum, I think, are a perfect side by side match. They opened up the hole so good for these guys. I mean, there was that 50 what was it? There was a Mike Washington. Actually, I don't think that was on. It was on him. He wasn't in there. Let me see. Mike Washington. No, that was with other lineups. But yeah, there was a play where just Colton Miller and Tyler Linderbaum opened up the hole. So I mean, it was opened up so wide that there was a point where like Miller just kind of looked around to see, okay, who's next? You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
then they pushed it open, and then that was when Genty actually he busted for a good 6 yards. He ended up getting stuck, but that was a great hole, and they're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing on that offensive line, and I'm so excited for the way that worked out.
I really think this line's going to come together. We might not see it right away. I mean, I think we're going to see a lot of improvement right away, but I don't even think we're going to see how good this line could eventually be until later on this season. But I actually think right out the gate, they're going to be vast improved from what they were last year. I was actually quite shocked talk about the offensive line. I forgot what outlet it was that did some power rankings on offensive lines, and
Yeah,
I was shocked they had the Raiders offensive line as it is right now, ranked 18th. Now that may not seem like, oh, it's the best line or anything like that, but compared to the way this line was last year, they have that much confidence to start the season that they're ranked 18th in the league. So I actually thought that was a pretty good placing for the way the season ended last year with this line.
Yeah, I mean, because they ended up like really low at the bottom last year.
If we weren't last, we were second to last. I mean, it was bad. That was the low of the lows with the line last year. But I don't think it was so much the talent as it was just the dysfunction in the coaching staff last year. So I think more stability and better coaches. It's really, and then obviously adding Linderbaum and some pieces in the draft. I think it's going to be vast improved this year.
Yeah, well, they did really well for him because, like I said, there was a lot of time. I mean, he didn't get really hit in the small play. Like I said, they lit it up. They ran the ball down the field, and it looked like it was a good mixture of plays. But I'm thinking that it's more towards the receiving and passing game than is going to be that actually was a major factor in this preseason game. But like I said, that lineup with Miller, Burford, Linderbaum, JPJ, and Glaze did really well. Now there was some reports about Glaze somewhat kind of falling behind. There was that play that he let. I guess he let one of the players in, and so they were trying to really kind of focus on that, maybe see what's going to happen with Glaze. But I think that the downside that I heard of any reports coming out of there was that DJ Glaze just at some point he kind of backpedaled a little too much, and he seemed kind of weak on some guys rushing in. But hopefully that's not going to be a factor or anything like that. That's going to probably push him back out. Fernando Mendoza, when he came in with the twos, he was working with Mike Washington, Dante Thornton as wide receivers, and Malik Benson, Derek Young, and then he had Jack Besh at one point. His lineup, as far as on the line goes, he had Charles Grant, Caleb Rogers, Jordan Meredith, Antonio Mafi, and then Trey Zoom. Caleb Rogers, I heard him and Jared Meredith, I heard were doing really good out there. Even though Meredith, they had him in as center. They said that they were actually doing pretty well. Did you notice any?
Meredith had a good game at center yesterday.
Right. Yeah.
He played center last year for the first time, so he looked way more comfortable in that role yesterday. He actually opened up him and forgot who was playing guard at the moment, but man, they opened that hole for Mike Washington when he ran. I think it was 53-yard run. And
56, yeah, 56.
56. Man, they opened up a nice hole, and then Washington did a little juke on the linebacker right there, and he was gone.
Yeah,
he got to learn. He got to learn NFL speed too, because I think he thought he had a for sure touchdown, and then that defender caught him.
Yeah. Hey, big shout out to the lines, man. To that offensive line for being able to open up that hole. But one other key player that was in there that really, really did it for him, that they were praising a lot, was Connor Hayward. He was the one who set up that first block as a fullback, and once he opened up that hole, and then the line just came up. Yeah, he was gone. Made that juke. Washington was out of there, man. So
what have I said since free agency and everything, since we got this coaching staff? What have I said I was excited we're bringing back to this offense?
A fullback. You're excited about the fullback. Yes. So now, because I thought of you when I heard that. I was like, ooh, I said, look at the fullback dudes. I heard Connor Hayward. I was like, wait, Connor Hayward, what set up a what? He set up a good block for Mike Washington to be able to get into that hole, be able to make that juke that he did, and be able to just bust out and get that 56-yard run. It would have been awesome had he scored the touchdown, but I think it was great that he ran that much. So it shows a lot.
I never liked these offenses that don't want to implement fullback. I've always thought that was a key part of an offense. The Raiders always, when they've had their biggest success, they've had really good fullbacks. And we have a history of having good fullbacks in this league. And I feel like the Raiders have always been at their best when we have that position. And we haven't had it in a few years. And we obviously haven't done that well in a few years. So the last one was I can't think of his name, but we let him go and he went to Miami. Now he's with the Chargers. But with Hayward, Hayward's way more of a blocking and catching type fullback. So I'm excited. I'm excited to have that back in this offense.
Let me see. Who was it that we had?
Cheese is saying it's making him miss John Ritchie and Marcel Reese, two of the best. Dude, John Ritchie was a freaking Raider. He could have been a Raider poster. That guy, every time he put on a helmet and went out there to block at fullback, I believe every game of his career, he was bleeding right here from his forehead down. Every game he had blood coming down his face. I'm like, that's a freaking Raider right there.
Well, we had Alexander Madison for a little while. He was the one who got sent to the Dolphins.
No, it was.
I don't think that was him.
No, he was a running back, but I think they started trying to use him kind of in that role. But he was a running back.
Are you talking about fullback?
Yeah, fullback. Forgot his name. Why can't I think of his name? We love. He was really good for us too with Gruden. Gruden brought him in. He was actually the first person to score a touchdown at Allegiant Stadium.
Oh,
I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. You even look up Chargers fullback. That's where he's at right
now. Alec Ingold.
That's Alec Ingold. There it is.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Cheese just said it.
Yeah, the home opener against the New Orleans Saints. So it was back in 2020. It was a 3-yard pass from a quarterback, Derek Carr. So, yeah, he was the first. I actually caught. Yeah, he caught it coming out of the backfield.
He's always been a fan favorite. Sucks to see him in a Charger uniform, but once a Raider, always a Raider.
Yeah, and the Chargers actually they handed who did they play? They played Miami yesterday. Who did they play? I don't know who they played yesterday, but they handed them a pretty good beatdown. Which I probably shouldn't have been paying attention to that. There he is.
Yo, my guy Wyatt.
Good.
How was dinner?
I was chill. Pizza.
Oh man. So okay, well, we talked a lot about the offense a little right now. Wyatt, we went over Cousins with his 5 and 6, 50 yards, 1 touchdown. How well the line was doing for him. Giving him a lot of time to be able to just execute that series. Mendoza 10 for 16, 97 yards and a touchdown. And then there was that one time that he got sacked because he held onto the ball a little bit too long. But then the very next play, he ends up throwing a touchdown to Jack Besh. And going over the wide receivers and everybody, your top players in the offense, you had E.J. Williams, who had 1 reception for 41 yards. Malik Benson actually had 2 receptions for 26 yards. Jack Besh, 3 for 25, and he scored that touchdown. Trey Tucker, 2 for 21. 60. His longest was a 16-yard, and then Mike Mayer with 2 receptions and 19 yards. Now, there is one thing that I wanted to go over on that one, as far as like the receivers and everything, because the receiving game was on point. And then there wasn't really much to do for the running game, and the running game was exactly. I think there wasn't really too many behind the line tackles. But one thing that I wanted to point out is that I think there was about 18 or so. I don't know the exact number of receivers that caught it, but there was a majority of 10 or more yards caught. So that just goes to show that we're getting a lot more first downs. We actually had more first downs in that first half than the other team did, and I'm really excited about that. So being able to move the ball is definitely something that I'm really excited about. So what did you take from that game, that offense, anyways?
Oh yeah, building off what you said, I mean, I thought that the receiving core, it kind of like showed us why they weren't more aggressive in the offseason in terms of like bolstering that position group, because I guess it looks like they had belief in some of the guys they already had on the roster pre-existing. I mean, Jack Besh really impressed me last night. I think he impressed a lot of people with his physicality and his ability to get open. as well as, guys like Malik Benson and Trey Tucker showing that speed. They have extra juice, and even, guys you wouldn't typically expect, like Shedrick Jackson, Brandon Johnson, and then Williams with that big 40-yard reception. So, and then Michael Mayer as well. I mean, tight end. So, I was really impressed with the receiving group. I thought that, honestly, the whole offense as a whole, like in the first half, really, I thought played really well on all facets: offensive line, run game, the top 2 quarterbacks on the roster, and pretty much all the receivers. I don't remember any bad drops other than that one Philip Dorsett drop. I don't know if you guys saw that one with AOC.
We were talking about that a minute ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will say, with all the like crap that AOC is getting, like that one was right in Dorsett's like wheelhouse. Like he should have had that. But
yeah, it's like he didn't even know that it was coming to him or something. It just hit like, oh shit.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, that was a very odd dropped pass on that one. But yeah, you're definitely right. There was the offense did really well in that, that first half. They did exactly what they were supposed to be doing. Like I said, with Cousins coming in, being the veteran that he is, Mendoza. I think that if anything, scoring a touchdown in his first drive, I think that kind of put him really, really in a very good spot as far as not only just being the number 2 quarterback, but most likely even getting a chance to even starting or even playing more time in the next game, even though we're going to be coming up against the Houston Texans. But I think that he is definitely on the right track to becoming a starter sometime in the near future. I'm not going to say he's going to start game 1. There is a possibility if he continues to play the way that he's doing with 10 for 16, staying above that 500 mark. I think that has a great chance of being able to get up there. And just real quick, I want to shout out to what's up with it, Raider Ryan. Thanks for jumping in. So yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how well he does in the next game. Coming up on the next one that we're going to talk about, obviously we're going to just run down real quick with the defense. Your defensive guys that you had in there as far as the lineup went with the edge rotation featured Adam Butler, Thomas Booker the fourth junior, Benito Jones, Kwity Paye, Patrick Johnson, and undrafted free agent Sion Lee Sloan, who actually got the sack in the game for a 5-yard loss. So what did you think about the defense? Obviously penalties and did that too, but I think that was on both sides. But what do you take from the defense?
Well, the flowers that I just gave to the offense, not exactly giving the same type of treatment to the defense, because I really wasn't very impressed with the defense, to be completely transparent. I thought that the defense was actually going to come out stronger than the offense, just because Rob Leonard already had continuity with like more than half the players on the defense already. And I don't know if it was just vanilla play calling. That's what a lot of people are speculating today. Or is it just a lack of talent, which I don't necessarily think that's the case, because they spent a good amount of resources like bolstering the defense through the draft and free agency. So, but there really wasn't any splash plays other than that guy. Like you said, Sloan looked good. And then I believe the other guy, I think his name is Patrick Johnson. He also had a sack. Yeah. So those 2 guys, maybe there's some good depth pieces, but there's some real concern in terms of guys coming in after the first unit. Like, I don't know, the DBs look pretty burnable. I was really disappointed with the Jermod McCoy. I know it's his first game in a long time, but he was kind of getting picked on in the red zone. I mean, what did you guys think about that?
So the way I kind of put this, and I don't want to give the defense an excuse, but I think week 1 of the preseason, we can. For one, yes, very vanilla. The coaches, JT the Brick was saying today that the coaches had told him it's going to be a absolute vanilla defense that they throw out there. They're not going to show anything that they're going to show in the regular season. So I wanted to see how these young guys perform. So where I'm kind of given the excuse for the first preseason game is there's a lot of rookies playing in that secondary and stuff. And they got their first taste of what it's like to be out there on an NFL field. And what I want to see improvement on their mistakes. It was very unimpressive. I don't think the corners played as well as what we've been hearing and seeing in training camp. Uh, but also, I was listening to Hondo Carpenter. Hondo Carpenter also said that the plays they were running yesterday are nothing that they've been seeing in training camp either. So it was obviously very vanilla and just letting guys be man to man. So kind of like how I feel about Fernando Mendoza, where I feel like when he makes a mistake, he bounces back, fixes that mistake, never makes the same mistake twice, and learns and gets better off that. That's what I want to see going into a juggernaut in Houston next week. So we're gonna hear the joint practice that they do on Tuesday, and then the game. And I just want to see improvement. If come, I don't care about wins, losses, all that stuff when it comes to preseason, but I will give the defense a pass this time, even though it was worrisome. They couldn't stop the run, and like he said, McCoy was getting picked on in the end zone. I can personally chop that up to just he hasn't played in a long time. First NFL game, get the jitters out. If they come out next week and play better, I'm not saying they have to come out and be fantastic, but if they come out, fix their mistakes, play a lot better, make a couple plays, then we can go, okay, they're learning. They're learning from their mistakes. So, but if we're going to talk about just the game yesterday, I agree with Wyatt. Very unimpressive. Couldn't stop the run. Couldn't stop Minshew. Couldn't stop a damn thing. And it just, and then on top of that, when we thought we were getting a groove going, here comes those ugly penalties again.
Right.
I mean, the yellow flags were getting thrown left and right. Half the game I was listening to on the radio before I made it to shenanigans, and I'm just like, oh my God, here we go again. It's just something that seems to haunt the Raiders. Doesn't matter what coaching staff we have, what GM we have, what owner we have. The yellow is like part of our uniform now. It's just it never stops.
Dirty laundry, man. Dirty laundry.
Yeah. So yeah, it was very unimpressive. I wish we could have saw better performance from that defense yesterday. But all in all, I was pretty happy with what I saw in the game. I just, by next week, I want to see improvement. That's it. I want to see improvement.
Yeah, as far as my opinion goes on all that, yeah, there was some stuff that I heard a lot of the other analysts and everything talking about how, you had McCoy back there and who was on the other side of him on that one.
Was it Massis? Or I don't know.
Oh yeah,
you had Massis and McCoy.
Okay.
They were talking about how obviously you got McCoy who hasn't played a game since the last time he was in college in 2024, and then January that very next year he ended up suffering an ACL tear, which kept him out for the remainder of the 2025 season. They were saying a lot about how him being a rookie, and along with Hezekiah Massis, that they were being picked on a hell of a lot, and I think that the lack of having a veteran guy out there, at least with one of these guys, would have probably been a factor as to why that they didn't get a chance to really shine and do exactly what they were supposed to do, and probably reason why they were getting picked on, so much as you were saying. And they were. There was recorded 2 red zone touchdown passes that Jermon McCoy ended up swiping away. So I mean, there were some good factors and good positive things about him in there. It just seems that with the reports that are coming out, that it seems that he gets beat off at the line still a little bit, but when it comes to being a little bit man to man, that he still is able to get a hand out there. It shows that he allowed 3 receptions, about 30 yards total. The touchdowns that came, they were both back shoulder catches in the red zone. A 10-yard catch. McCoy ended up getting a hand on that ball, but he was beaten off the line. And then the second touchdown that Jalen Brooks ended up catching, these were both in the second quarter. McCoy did not get hands on the receiver off the snap and to be able to allowing that catch. However, Coach Kubiak said that he is good for his development when it came to McCoy having thrown him into coverage like that. So I think there's still some developments coming up with that. I don't see really anything going wrong. I mean, I'm going to look at the positive as far as the being able to knock down those two catches, and that was on Gardner Minshew too. So that was really good. Kubiak praised McCoy's physical readiness and said that outing was great for him. That the outing was great for him to get back to football, noting that he's going to get better for it. So maybe this is something that he needed. He needed to get that welcome to the NFL kind of punch, and see where he goes from there. Along with Hezekiah Masses, I mean, there was a lot of good stuff talking about him in the OTAs and training camp. But going forward, hey, you're in the big leagues now, man. So let's go on ahead and start stepping it up. Put some hands on some bodies and do what you got to do.
Hey, you know what I did see a few times though, when the starters were in, my boy Quay Walker, he was able to fill that hole really fast and make some nice tackles yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and going into that, the names. I mean, you would think that you would hear a lot of these names going into into this game, but Greedy Vance actually was your top guy with the 8 tackles, and Tommy Eichenberg with 4 tackles, along with Patrick Johnson with the same. But Patrick Johnson was the one who ended up getting a sack, along with undrafted free agent Cian Sloan. Which I've never heard that name before. I didn't even know he was undrafted. But Cian Sloan, he had 21 defensive snaps, 3 tackles, and 3 tackles, and he had 1 sack, which was a 5-yard loss. So that was great. Really, really like that. So we're going to be seeing a lot coming out of these guys going into we'll see. Actually, we're going to see how it's really going to develop next week, because you got Houston Texans coming up, right? And with that being said, I want to go ahead and let everybody know, hey, we are at Shenanigans, 7431 Madison Avenue, and we will be showing the preseason game against Houston Texans. They are going to have that scrimmage game 2 days before the actual game. So, Chavez, what do you think is that going to do for us as far as a readiness? Do you think that's a good idea for them to have a scrimmage game against probably one of the hardest defenses in the league?
I think more and more teams are doing these joint practices because that's where you really get to see how your team's doing. Because a lot of these teams aren't playing their starters in the preseason. Like Max Crosby didn't play yesterday.
Yeah.
But you're going to get to see Max Crosby in the joint practice and what he does against that offensive line. And I'm sure the Texans want to see how good their line is right now as well. So they want to see how they hold up against Max Crosby. So I really do think that joint practices are more of a big deal than the preseason games themselves. So and you know what? I'm not scared to admit it. The Texans are an amazing defense. They are far ahead of the Raiders right now as a team. So it's going to be a great challenge for the Raiders. And I don't necessarily think the Raiders are going to go dominate this joint practice, but I would like to hear some good things coming out of it. If our offense is able to move the ball, if the defense plays well against their offense, it'll let you know that the Raiders are on a good path. You obviously don't want to hear the Raiders go in there and just get demolished and not be able to get anything done. But I think it's going to be a good test for them, and I'm excited to hear what happens from it.
Well, we're gonna be seeing that. So 5 p.m. Thursday, August 20th, we'll be able to see what's gonna happen, and it's gonna be a very interesting game. And like I said, bring the family, bring the kids, bring the friends. Whether you're a member or not, you are more than welcome to show up. And even if you are a Raiders fan or not, there's maybe 1 or 2 TVs you can watch your team play. I'll just play. There's going to be plenty of TVs to be able to watch your.
And there's DJ Real about it. Why wouldn't you come? That's worth the free admission already, right there.
I mean, we like to get it lit. We like to keep it lit a little bit. So
we'll let you guys know when Wyatt makes it, because then that place is going to be packed because everybody wants to meet him.
Oh yeah,
yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm telling you, you're like harder to get a hold of than the president, bro. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
We need
He'll
you
make
out
an
there.
appearance. He'll make an appearance eventually.
Yeah, I'm just not saying. I'm gonna lay low, and then like all of a sudden, you're gonna like look at the door, and I'll just be walking in unannounced.
What jersey are you wearing there? What?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. I'm wearing the Derek Carr.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh.
All
Kind of need
right.
to get a new one, but I have a Crosby one as well. I was ready to throw it in the closet until he came back through that rescinded trade. But
Well, we have a good jersey person, so if you need anything, let me know. We have a good one they'll custom make them too if you want.
oh
Actually,
wow,
it's our I'll just say it. It's our girl Marlene out of Reno chapter. She's the president of the Reno chapter. You guys need any Raider jerseys or you want some custom Raider jerseys? Hit up our girl Marlene. You can find her at TVH Reno on Instagram, or you can even look up Marlene Sanchez. Amazing person, good prices, and I actually mine are on the way. I got both my daughters got some custom made ones. My wife got Bo Jackson, and I already got
Oh,
all mine. So
she does custom made jerseys
she does
too.
custom made too. Yes.
All
that's
right.
sick.
So I got
I'm gonna get out of here in a minute.
Jasmine and Yessie both got their basketball numbers on their jersey, and then some names on the names they wanted on the back. So we got so you'll see Jasmine in a number 2, but it ain't Ashton Genty. It's Jay Chavez that's coming at you. So
There you go. All right. Well, going into next
So,
week's game, Wyatt. I mean, how do you think that the offensive line would be able to hold up against such a a very dominant defensive line with the Houston Texans?
I mean, like Raider Chavez said, like these inter squad kind of practices actually, I agree with that. I think they do kind of show more of the team's true colors. And, it's no secret the Texans had the number 1 defense last season. And I think that our defense actually got better. If you look at what they did in the draft, they took that defensive tackle that a lot of people were mocking the Raiders to get. I believe his name is Caden McDonald out of
yeah,
Ohio State. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for sure. Tough sledding with the offense. But I'm really impressed with what I saw from that week 1 preseason game. It looked like Clint Kubiak's offense was in complete control when the first and second units were out there, at least, especially the first one. But I was impressed with the offensive line yesterday. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, they only let up 2 sacks. And that one was, I believe Izzy said it earlier, it was because Mendoza held onto the ball a little bit too long in the red zone. I mean, that's a common rookie kind of mistake. But I was impressed with the offensive line. And I think with the addition of Linderbaum up the middle, I'm really interested to see how the run game fares against this Texans defense, particularly Ashton Genty, because Genty, they kind of kept him under wraps yesterday. I believe he had 3 attempts for 16 yards, which is efficient, but Mike Washington broke off that big play. And I think Genty is kind of itching to get back out there to show that he can do that too.
and talking about that, not to cut you off, Wyatt, but remember, even with the dysfunction and everything from last year and the way the offensive line played last year, we actually almost beat the Texans in the regular season last year. Genty went off and had a huge game against that defense last year. So could be interesting to see what happens with a better coaching staff and a better line this year.
No, you're 100% right. Yeah.
You're muted, Izzy. We can't hear you.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the mute button.
Oh, never mind. Never mind. Mute yourself again.
Whatever. Hey, I like the way I say it, yeah, but no, going back into that, the Ashton Genty really didn't have a chance to do too much yesterday. Getting a feel of the line and how everything was going. And it's only because Cousins just came and just lights out. You know what I mean? He went 5 for 6, and in that series he threw a touchdown. Once he threw the touchdown, that was it. He didn't need to do anything else. So they took all the ones out and they put the 2s in there. And then Mike Washington did exactly what he was supposed to be doing. With that line opening up the way that it did, that hole opening up the way that it did, it was I believe it was Meredith that was at the center at that point. Because they ended up putting Meredith in for coming in as a 2s. But the biggest thing is, and we're gonna go back and talk how Chavez said at the beginning, how the one position that they love to have back in there was the fullback, because that 56-yard run that Washington ended up getting, it was set up really well with Connor Hayward setting up a huge block, and then that line opening up right after that, a juke move by Washington, and then it was just, it would have been nice had he scored that touchdown. But I mean, hey, 56 yards on that showed some really, really good improvement and some really, really good signs that this line is really coming together on the offensive end. As far as the defense goes, I mean that was that wasn't too good. A lot of the passing interference, or not passing interference, but a lot of the penalties that came out from that game. I think there was 8 penalties total. It might have been 10. I don't know. I might be wrong. Taron Johnson had a defensive pass interference. It was a 20-yard. Adam Butler 5 yards. There was one. Connor Haywood actually he was holding. Charles Grant holding. So hopefully, they could be able, another offense. If there was Albert, I don't know if I'm going to say this name right, Albert Aquabenum. I can't even say his name. I know I'm beating it up, but he was holding. So if we're going to be playing against a Houston team like that with the defensive that they have, I mean, we really got to be able to at least get those penalties down, and that's always going to be our crutch right there is the penalties. But let me ask you this, Wyatt, like how concerned are you with the penalties going into, the next preseason game? I mean, are you a little bit, should they clean it up? Are you very concerned, or is, it's just preseason?
I think it's just preseason, and it's, the first game with the new coaching regime. So I think the preseason, this is what the preseason is for, to work this stuff out before the actual season starts. And I know, how it is. I mean, Raiders fans, we feel like, it has happened. Like we've been penalized heavily in the past, more so than most teams. And whether that's a lack of discipline or the league just out to get us, whatever it may be, we're always seemingly getting racking up a lot of penalties.
Right.
But I'm not really that concerned about that, honestly. It was just the first game of preseason. I'm more concerned about, not concerned, I guess, but I'm more curious to see how the defense kind of leads up and follows up this kind of disappointing first appearance and kind of builds up into the regular season, because with all the vanilla play calling and stuff, they didn't want to show too much. With all of the hype around Rob Leonard's aggressive, blitz heavy defense, that 3-4 base that he kept talking about, I want to see that like live. I want to see what that looks like. And maybe they were just kind of trying to keep things under wraps. But that, I don't know if you guys talked about this earlier, but that 15 for 15 completion stretch that the Arizona QBs had to start off the game, I mean, that was just brutal to watch. I mean, I don't know, like I was just expecting more pass rush and stuff. But in terms of penalties, though, I wasn't really too concerned.
I mean, they made Minshew look like a real quarterback yesterday. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, you can't let a.
I will say this. I will say this because I was listening to half the game on the radio side, and Matt Millen, JT the Brick, and Eric Allen were on the call. And when Eichenberg, I think it was Eichenberg, it was one of the Bergs, a linebacker that got the 15-yard personal foul penalty.
Yeah,
they were getting him for throwing a punch, but he was just trying to punch out the ball. And I like what Matt Millen said. He's like, that's old school Raider right there. You get a chance to get a punch in, you get a goddamn punch in. So that's okay for that 15-yard penalty. Nothing on that. I like the old school Raiders. I like to get that little jab in if they can.
Well, the old Raiders' identity was aggressive, intimidating, and rebellious, but playing Raider football shouldn't automatically mean giving away free yards. So we think, as much as we stand by our guys, man, we got to at least get one good reason why we're not falling.
You're supposed to throw the punch and not get caught. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's where it's at. It's one of those.
He got caught. Yeah.
Oh man. So defense didn't really do too well. And we can speculate all we want about whether or not that it's either young guys out there not knowing what they're doing, or we can, blame it on Rob Leonard, maybe it's his kid. And it's a lot of firsts for everybody. You know what I mean? We got the rookies that are out there, and then you got Rob Leonard that's up in the booth now instead of actually on the field with the guys. So covering more of the defense than he normally does. But, they got to be able to follow the scheme. They got to be down with that. Offense looks great. I think everybody is on point. I think a lot of it has to do with Mendoza. being able to adapt to that, to the changes that are going on and, going into the NFL. Cousins is on top of it. I mean, he's showing that he's a true veteran. AOC, unfortunately, it's going to be, he's not doing too well. The receivers are looking great. And if there was one guy that really did stand out, I mean, we're just going to go on ahead and just, come to our favorite part of the show, which is,
4th and Wyatt.
Trust me, I got this.
And I think that this is the part where you're going to tell us the one guy that probably stood out for us, man. So go on ahead and lay it on us, Wyatt.
Yeah, I thought the most impressive wide receiver yesterday. There were a couple of, honorable mentions. I thought, Malik Benson looked really good, but no one impressed me more than Jack Besh. And I think most Raider fans can kind of come into agreement with that. I mean, they took him in the second round last season. He had lofty expectations. And whether it was the Pete Carroll influence or John Spytek wanted to get his guy out of TCU, he really just didn't pop last season. And it was for a combination of reasons, most likely. But it was really good to see him ball out yesterday because there really hasn't been that much buzz being generated with him at camp so far. It's been all about Malik. It's been the Malik Benson show. I've been hearing a lot about Naylor, but really Jack Besh hadn't really made any, headlines yet. And yesterday he showed that he can really be kind of like that Hunter Renfrow-esque of what the Raiders used to have, a guy that you look at on third down that can line up in the slot and be a quarterback's best friend out there. And that's what he did yesterday. There were two plays in particular that really stood out to me with Besh yesterday. It was that first one. I think it was the first or second completion that Kirk Cousins had. It was a third down, third and long. And, it was a highly contested window, and Beck came down with the catch. It was a very physical play. And then the second one was actually his first touchdown in the silver and black. And that was Mendoza's first touchdown as well. And they connected on that. I believe it was like a 6-yard strike, like slant right across the middle. And I think that with these defenses being so focused on guys like, Michael Mayer, the Brock Bowers and Ashton Genties of the world, Jack Besh is going to be able to get some extra scraps in the red zone and also on third down. And I think he actually might end up having a really big season this year. I know it was only one game, so we don't want to freak out too much about it, but I thought his hands looked really reliable, as well as, he's always going to be a good blocker. That's one thing that he's been good at throughout his time in the NFL and college as a receiver. And Clint Kubiak, he notoriously likes wide receivers that can block well because that helps out the running game additionally.
Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I like how you mentioned that that they threw the ball to him. Actually, he caught all 3 of his targets and scored a 6-yard touchdown from Fernando Mendoza, which that touchdown actually came right after he was sacked holding onto the ball. And I was telling Raider Chavez about this, that Mendoza actually held on to that ball for 4.27 seconds when he got sacked. But in the very next play, 1.2 seconds, and he threw the ball for that quick slant right there, and he ended up hitting Jack Besh for that touchdown. But catching all of those going into last year, he actually caught, and I may believe there's probably 1 or 2 passes that he didn't catch, but he had 20 receptions, 224 yards, and averaging 11.2 yards, meaning that every single time that he caught the ball was a first down. In this game, every single time that he caught the ball was a first down. So he wasn't utilized very much at all last season because of the dysfunction that went on. But Jack Besh is actually a really decent wide receiver. And they did, I think there was even at one time that they may have even thrown him in as a blocker, and he blocked very well. But he definitely has the hands to be able to catch. And it seems to be that every time that they throw him the ball, he's catching it.
Yeah. He's always going to get heat because of where he was drafted. But if he can somehow just kind of like what Wyatt said, take that third and Renfro role and catch those first downs, which he showed right there. He's never going to be a speedster. He's never going to be the, guy that's going to blow you away. But he has hands. So if he can catch the ball, meaningful first downs, he's got the big body. He could, if they use him properly, could be a red zone threat too, as you saw yesterday with him scoring that touchdown. So that's all we need him to be. We don't need him to be a 1,000-yard guy or a guy that goes out there and is just number one receiver in the league and everybody's picking him up in fantasy football. We need him to be that possession guy like Hunter Renfrow was. And I think he's on his way to doing that. So he's going to catch heat because of where he was drafted, but screw that. He was already drafted. He's on the team. Just let him have a meaningful role and forget about him being a second round pick.
Yeah, second round, 58 overall. Came in at 6'1", 214 pounds, from Lafayette, Louisiana. I mean, he's going to be. I think that they're going to utilize him very well. And they even said during the OTAs that they have a plan for him. So there's something that they are going to be, planning to have him do, and whether it be moving him around or keep throwing him in at certain points. At least we know at this point he's going to get a first down, because I think even the 2 first downs, the 2 catches that he ended up getting for first downs was like a 3rd and 8, and then another one was like a 3rd and 9. So he is going to be a great player to be able to come in at that time. Oh, what happened with Wyatt?
Oh no, it's my lighting fell apart.
He likes to be the dark man in the corner there, just dark, hiding. They pops out when he's got something to say.
Yeah.
Oh man. So I mean, all in all, man, I mean, I think it was a very decent. Even though that they lost, I think it was, it wasn't really a big deal whether they won or lost a game. I think. Wyatt, what do you think? Was that a win? Was that a successful preseason game in your eyes?
You mean like just in general, or
yeah,
like for the offense, or
just in general? Yeah,
in general.
I mean, yeah, I was just excited to see that the offense had a pulse. I think it was a relieving sight, because we hear all this talk about all these new offensive changes they've made to the roster, and it was just good to see it like kind of play out in front of our own eyes. And I thought there were multiple key players that stepped up that either had down years last year, or we just drafted this year. Like, I mean, Malik Benson, I mean, he looks like he could be like a legitimate like wide receiver, like from the get-go. I mean, he might end up starting, honestly, with how how much juice he had on those couple of receptions that he was able to come down with. And yeah, I mean, I was just really impressed with the pass catching. I think that we all kind of expected the run game to be improved and the quarterback position to be improved as well. But the receiving core has been catching a lot of strays so far in training camp, or not training camp, just in the offseason in general. Everyone's saying we have like the worst wide receiving core, bottom 5, whatever. But if everybody has their roles, like you guys were saying, like if Besh can kind of carve out that, like the guy you go to on 3rd down / red zones, and you have your burners outside, Naylor and Tucker, and then you have the 2 tight end sets with Mayer and Brock, and then the running backs catching passes too. I mean, that's a complete offense in my thoughts, and the offensive line holds up like it did. I was impressed. I think that I come away from that game feeling better about this season than before it, just because of how good the offense looked. And I think it's too early to overreact with the defense yet, but I am a little bit concerned just because the defense really struggled on the pass defending and stuff.
What about your take on Travis? Yeah.
Even regardless of the performance yesterday, even with the personnel we have, especially with a lot of the young players we have on defense, I'm not expecting this to be a top-tier defense. I'm expecting them to be better than last year, and the offense is going to help them with that, because hopefully they're getting first downs, driving down the field, and keeping the defense off the field. And don't forget, Max Crosby wasn't playing, so that makes a huge difference too, because now you have to figure out how to defend him, and he can take up 2 to 3 guys sometimes. So that leaves somebody else open there, and there's no blitzing right now, none of that stuff. So I don't think we're going to have like a top defense. I do think it's going to be a much improved defense as long as we stay healthy. And with the way I feel the offense is going to play this year, this team is going to be good. I don't know what that means in the win-loss record. As of right now, we have a juggernaut of the schedule, especially in October. But as we all know, that could change. Teams that we think are going to be great sometimes fall on their face. Injuries change a lot of things too sometimes. So we don't know how the schedule's going to play out, but I think we're going to be competitive. I'm not going to overreact at the way the defense looked yesterday. I will if you and I are sitting in Allegiant Stadium week 1 against the Dolphins and the defense can't stop the run and Malik Willis just tears us apart. Then I'm going to leave that game that Sunday and go, we got a problem. So,
Oh, and what you said in this next game, in this next one coming up, or which one are you talking
no,
about?
when we're at Allegiant Stadium against the
yeah,
Dolphins week 1,
yeah.
if we walk out of there, going, what just happened? They ran all over us with a nobody running back, and Malik Willis tore us up. Then I'm gonna go, yeah, we have an issue.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll see what happens with this. I mean, there was 21 points that the Cardinals ended up scoring in the first half, and then they scored, I think, 6 in the second.
Yeah.
How much of that does that have to do with playing the 2s and the 3s? Who knows? But I mean, we did have our 1s in there in the first half, and allowing them to allowing a team to go 15 for 15 in the first half, especially when you Brissett and Minshew out there looking like. I mean, I think between the two of them, I think only one pass was dropped, or knocked away. So it was like you can't let in this league right now. I mean, yeah, I know it's only preseason, but you cannot allow a team to go 15 for 15 in the first half and just get all over you on that one. And like you said, you made a really decent point, a really great point about not having Max Crosby in there, because Max Crosby, I think his energy is going to be able to bring a lot. I mean, you need your captain out there. Like I said, you're going to need your veteran guy out there to be able to rally your guys in and get them out there. So we're going to see the difference when Max Crosby is able to come out there and play. And as far as that, he was held out for the preseason game. Coach Clint Kubiak confirmed the decision, saying that it was his call, but gave no real explanation as to why Crosby didn't suit up. And I think it has to do just more with just not wanting to play his key guys in there a little bit too soon to get hurt. I'm pretty sure he's probably working something out with Crosby to be like, hey, when are you ready to go in, or do you want to go check out? It's ultimately going to be, I think, with his tenure and with the way that it is, I think it's going to be up to Max Crosby to whether tell coach, hey, you know what, I'm ready to suit up, let's go.
I don't need to see Brock. I don't need to see Max. Let's just get through this preseason healthy and
Get to
get
the
to week
preseason,
1.
right?
That's all.
Right.
That's all I care about. I don't need to see any of those guys out there. I don't even need to see. I don't even need to see Cousins again. We're good. I don't need to see Genty.
That's all we needed.
Nothing. Let's just get to week 1. That's all I care about right now. I'm all right. You want to throw Mendoza out there some more? Go ahead. But I don't need to see any of those guys in the preseason anymore. And I agree with the comment that Cheese just made on there right now about we need to eat some sushi week 1 when we're playing the Dolphins, because
Hey, that's right.
we're chopping up the fish.
Let's look.
It's Allegiant. Hey, we're in Las Vegas. We're in Las Vegas with Allegiant Stadium. There's sushi somewhere in that stadium, so let's go.
All right. Hey, you know what? Real quick on Max Crosby, something just came in on the wire 22 hours ago. As a quote was by an insider, might as well trade Max Crosby to the Cowboys now. Insider pushes Dallas to pounce as Raiders get crushed in preseason game 1. If there's anybody out there that can talk to any of your league representatives, tell them to step the hell off. Crosby ain't going nowhere. They're not going to trade him. We're going to keep him. I don't see what they're going to do, but we'll talk about that in another show.
Silly people. People put way too much into preseason sometimes.
Yeah.
If we're going to do that, then Arizona is going to win their division and be great because they're 2-0 now. I mean, come on. I remember the year when Raiders went 4-0 in the preseason, and then only won 2 games that season.
Yeah, it was 2 games, I think it was. Yeah. All right, so let's ask some final questions here. So Jack Best showed that he's definitely worth having on the team. Travis, I'm going to ask you: are you comfortable with the Raiders' wide receiver depth after what you saw?
Uh,
Malik Benson, Besh,
so
doing what they're doing.
so I'll word it like this: comfortable for this season, yes.
Right.
I don't feel with the way we're trying to build this team right now. They don't need to go out and pick up, like, I know Diggs is gone now, but when he was a free agent, we didn't need to go out and get Diggs. We don't need that veteran guy. Just let this season roll out. Let these guys get some playing time, see how it goes, and then we'll hit it next season. The whole plan this year, we knew we weren't going to get everything we needed in one off season. You
Right.
know, nobody was planning to go to the Super Bowl this year. You know, realistically, nobody here thinks we're going to the Super Bowl, or most people don't even think we're going to the playoffs. You never know; anything can happen. But you roll with what you have. You got to give Besh this playing time. You got to give Benson this playing time, and we'll see what happens with Thornton Jr. But you got to see what you have in these guys, and you go into next offseason and next draft, and you build on those holes. I'm sure they'll go after a defensive tackle. I'm sure they'll go after a wide receiver, and then that's really going to put us in a great position with this team. So yes, for this year, I'm comfortable because I know what they're doing. I see their plan, and I'm okay with it. Other people, outsiders that don't really follow the team, that just want to look at the roster and break it down, are going to tell you we have the worst wide receiver group there is. We need to go out and get a veteran. And it's like you're kind of contradicting yourself because you're on here saying the Raiders aren't going to be that good this year. They're not going to make the playoffs. Oh, look at their wide receiver core. They need to go out and get this veteran guy. But it's like, why? You just said they're not going to make the playoffs. They're not going to be a good team this year. Why would you go out and go get a veteran wide receiver? Why wouldn't you just play what you have? He didn't say you get this veteran wide receiver, boom, the team's in the playoffs. If the results are going to be the same, roll with what you have, get these guys playing time, and we're good. So that was my long way of saying yes. Right now, I am comfortable with our wide receiver group.
That would be the same question for you, Wyatt. I mean, is your comfort level good with what you saw with as far as at least our twos go? I mean, is there something that you be concerned with at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a developmental year. Obviously, we want to see improvement from last season. I agree with what Raider Chavez said. I'm really glad we didn't go out there and pick out a Diggs or a Debo or whatever. Like, I'm comfortable with seeing what we have on roster already. Seeing guys like Besh, Benson, Thornton get that playing time, I think is much more meaningful for the long haul. And I thought it was smart to bring in Kirk Cousins in the offseason. I thought that this game specifically showed why they brought in Kirk Cousins. Because, well, Fernando Mendoza probably could. He's definitely ready to be an NFL starter in terms of, if you look around the league and rank him among all the other starting quarterbacks. But it's just a much better strategy and a proven strategy to have that rookie quarterback learn behind a proven veteran that can kind of show them the ropes without just throwing them out into the fire and then losing their confidence and stuff. Because I just think that Kirk Cousins is going to give them the best chance to win when we first start out. And the ultimate goal is we do want to win. I mean, we keep saying developmental year, and I literally just said that, but at the same time, like, we do want to win as well. So I think it's trying to do a combination of multiple things at once. So letting certain position groups kind of develop, but also trying to put the best product on the field. Is kind of having a balance of both. And I think the offense is really poised to do that with the personnel they have. And then defensively, we just got to see more before we can really create any definitive takes. Like, obviously, like, no one's really impressed with what they saw yesterday on the defense, but it's week 1 of preseason, so it's too early to overreact. And maybe the defense will start, Rob Leonard will, let the cats out of the bag, and, they'll have some crazy tricks up their sleeves, and they'll be catching, quarterbacks left and right, getting a bunch of pressure and all that. But yeah, I just think it's really early to kind of, be too concerned about that. And I'm really optimistic. I'm just so stoked that football's back, and I can't wait to see what this team looks like week 1 against the Dolphins.
So is it too early right now to kind of develop or even say that the team has an identity right now with what we just saw yesterday? And then what would that identity be?
I mean, I thought the offense.
Right, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I thought the offense definitely had an identity. I mean, they knew exactly what they wanted to do out there when Kirk Cousins and the first stringers walked out. I mean, they were hyper efficient in the pass game, and it also set up the run game and vice versa to kind of, they were just churning first downs. They weren't throwing, 40-yard, trying to hook up with deep touchdowns. They were just trying to chip away and, gain efficient yardage, and everybody kind of got a piece of the pie. Like, Kirk Cousins was spreading the ball around, facilitating really well. And I think that Kirk Cousins ultimately has the best understanding of this Kubiak offense because he's already played in it before. And I think that's going to help Fernando Mendoza really kind of bring him along. But in terms of Fernando Mendoza, I thought that the highs outweighed the lows yesterday. He showed some crazy talented plays that kind of, I think, is like what we all wanted to see when they drafted him first overall. I mean, there were a couple of plays where he was just under pressure and he just remained calm. He wasn't dancing around back there. He stood and held his own in the pocket and, was able to zip some really tight windows, zip some throws through some really tight windows. And I think the offense definitely has, their identity down, but the defense still kind of waiting on that.
Hey, Raider Nation, I know you hate hearing the word patience, but Fernando Mendoza is going to be a good quarterback in this league, man, with the Raiders. He really is. He's got it. So it's going to take us a little time till he gets in there, but dude, I think we have something with this kid. We really do.
Yeah, he took hits. He threw the ball away. I think he played very smart, throwing the ball away when he was supposed to. I mean, obviously he held on to it a couple of times, a little bit longer than he should have, and those plays either resulted in, obviously an incomplete throwing it away, or he got sacked. But he seemed to have bounced back really good. So yeah, taking what Chavez just said. Yeah, just be patient. You know what I'm saying? So Chavez, real quick, if you had to pick one side of the ball that you would have to pick, that you would have to trust more right now, what would it be, the offense or the defensive side?
Do I even have to answer that? I think you do.
Probably not.
With the way the game went yesterday, we'd all have to say offense, I would believe.
Well, then let me ask you, then, after watching the game, are you more confident in the Raiders team than you were before the kickoff, less confident, or exactly the same?
It's preseason. Let's get to week 1. I'm ready to get to Vegas.
Yeah. That's what's up. How about you, Wyatt? What are you thinking, man? Ready for next week?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I thought that, like, the main thing we wanted to see was what does Kirk Cousins and Fernando Mendoza look like, especially Fernando Mendoza, taking him number 1 overall. And I think we kind of got our answer with how they played yesterday.
Yeah, 5 for 6 with Cousins, 1 touchdown, 50 yards. Mendoza, 10 for 16, 97 yards, and a touchdown, which I think actually really, really helped his stock. And like I said, Mendoza looked very good out there, being able to not hold on to the ball as long. It was, and it really did come down to when he held on to the ball longer than he should have. Yeah, bad things did happen. Kirk Cousins showed exactly why he is a veteran quarterback and why he probably most likely has to be the reason why he starts game 1 coming up against in September against the Dolphins. But it can still change. I mean, there are a lot of things that can happen. If Mendoza continues to play the way that he does and just shines out, I think that there's a strong possibility that we could see Mendoza suiting up a lot sooner than probably before, before the bye. So, we'll go there. Any final thoughts? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, let me throw in we shout out to the most active person on our chat today, and at jcheeseman9988.
Yes, sir.
You are going to win 2 Sacramento Black Hole shirts tomorrow at our meeting that you have to pay for. Love you, Cheese.
Cheese. We love you, Cheese. Yeah, we do. And with that being said, I want to go on ahead and shoot out one more time. A big shout out to Shenanigans Kitchen and Bar and Momo Smokehouse. The preseason game that we had yesterday was amazing. We had a lot of people show up, and it was a great turnout. And we were so happy that everybody was able to make it out there, not only with their friends and with their families. We got 2 new members, which is amazing. And it's not that we try to push it out on you guys. Like I said, you do not have to be a member to show up to these watch parties. It's just, if you want to, we can explain to you what the benefits are of being a member. But most of all, the best part is we have a home, Shenanigans, 7431 Madison Avenue, where we have our watch parties. DJ, we got great greetings. We have our community service rep. We have our hype people. I mean, everything is awesome. Come join us next Thursday, August 20th at 5 p.m., where the Raiders are going to be taking on the Houston Texans, and it's going to be a great, great day. We hope to see everybody there. So please come join us.
Y'all see that burger right there? I know it's called Momo Smokehouse because they got barbecue, but don't sleep on their burgers. They got really good burgers, so come get you a burger.
Yeah, come get it. All right, any final thoughts before we end the show, you guys?
We're good, man. Let's get our weekend going. It's Friday.
Right. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Friday, and it's football season's here.
All right, Raider Nation, that's going to do it for us tonight here on the Sack Blackout podcast. We broke down the offense, the defense, the players who exceeded expectations, the guys who still have some work to do, and everything in between from the Raiders preseason matchup against the Cardinals. Now, like we had said all night, it's just preseason. We're going to be patient. We're not going to be crowning anybody or anything like that, and we're not burying anybody after just one game, unless you're quarterback named AOC. And but these games do give us some clues. They show us who's improving, who's fighting for a role, which areas in this team needs to clean up before the game starts counting down for real. Big shout out to everybody who joined us in here today. Cheese, thank you for dropping the comments. Whether you agree with us or disagree with us, we appreciate that you guys try to keep up the conversations out there. And if you enjoyed the show, make sure that you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on those notifications, because we're going to be talking Raiders every single week, especially after the games. If we can do a post game right after the game, stuff like that, we definitely will. But you can always catch us, if not the very next day, at least having the show come out Monday during the regular season. But this one right now, we'll probably be getting some done maybe on a Friday or Saturday. We'll still figure that out.
Fridays the next few weeks.
Yeah, Fridays for the next few weeks, and that'll work out. So like I said, more Raiders football coming your way. And until next time, keep representing the silver and black. Keep the debates going. And remember, around here, we bring the facts. We give our honest opinions, and we black out the nonsense here on the Real Sack Blackout podcast show. Thank you so much.
Bye, Cheese. Bye, Cheese.
You guys have a good one, and we'll see you again next week, y'all.